I'm James Bridges with Survival Edge Lights. The model that you're looking at here is the S10 Baton by Olight. Now I was excited to open up this particular light, and it may be difficult to tell, but I do want to show you this in the palm of my hand. You can see it's actually a very compact light, pretty small actually. It's just at 70.5 millimeters in length. One of the unique aspects, I'm going to get into this light in detail so you can find out just a little bit more about it, see if it's a match for your goals. It's not much longer than its power source, which is a CR123A battery. You can see there that's just about half the length of the body of the flashlight. And yes, I do realize I have a night core battery in my hand. It's an Olight, but these batteries will work with this model. It also can take the rechargeable versions, the RCR 123As, which is a nice option as well, so you can get a little bit more use out of your light. Now, I am traditionally a big fan of these size of lights just because I feel they have a large portion of utility. They can be an everyday carry, you can throw them in the car, you can certainly throw them in your pocket and really not notice them, or they can be as a backup in your go bag. So there's a lot of utility in this size of light, especially when they pack the power of this one, of the S10 here. Now, being powered by a CR123A battery, it does have actually a maximum lumens output of 400 lumens. Pretty strong, powerful light. Now you may go, okay, hey, that's great. Hey, I have a nice 400 lumens output. What else do I get? Well, here's the nice part. You actually get 4 different brightness modes with this model. You have moonlight mode, which I'll show you in just a moment, at half lumens. Your mode up from there is 5 lumens, then 85 lumens, and then, like I just shared, your maximum 400 lumens. Now, to access all of that, you have a single button user interface. If you've seen some of my other videos, you'll see me praise 2 button interfaces for their ease of use. However, I do like the button style on the Olight. It makes it pretty straightforward, and I'll show you that in a moment. Now, one of the cool aspects that I do like about many of the Olight models is the moonlight mode. That you can access by holding down the button for just 1 second, and it operates at in this case, at a half lumens of output. So if you have the light in the off position, and you hold it down for 1 second, you'll see here, great, now it's on its lowest output setting. Pretty straightforward. I like that just for a quick little scan. Maybe leave it on a nightstand, checking for your keys in the morning or at night, making sure everything's in order. Nice. And then a single click off. If I do just press down the button, now it's going to remember the last mode I was in. In this case, a moonlight mode. Turn it off. If I want to access the different modes of the light, in this case, the 4 different brightness levels, if I have the light on, all I have to do actually is just hold down the switch and I'll cycle through the modes. Now I'm at 400 lumens. Now if I turn off the light and turn it back on, it is going to remember the last setting that I was at. In this case, 400 lumens. If I hold in again, I'm back cycling through the different modes. Pretty handy. So I can turn it back off. So the S10 Baton, that single button user interface does make it pretty straightforward to use. Now, one of the other unique aspects of the S10 that you can also find on some of the other models is it actually has a lockout feature. Especially if you might be putting this in a pocket, you don't want to have it accidentally turn on, burn up your battery. That would certainly be a drag. I do like the lockout feature. Now, what you'll do for the lockout feature, it's pretty straightforward. You're going to hold down the button, enter moonlight mode, and you can see there, you just keep holding it, and now I can click and it will not activate the light. So now it's in lockout mode, so it prevents accidentally turning on the light. You go, hey, great, my light's in lockout mode. What am I to do now? Pretty straightforward. You can just hold it down again. There you go, back in moonlight mode just for 1 second. I can turn it off and turn it back on. Again, quite a bit of utility out of the one button. No kind of having to figure out massive double clicks. You can just hold it down and cycle through the different modes. I like that. I find it particularly easy to operate in that manner. Now, one item that I think is often overlooked on many lights, which I am a huge fan of here on the S10 Baton, is the two-way clip. I know it seems simple, but being able to clip from either this side or this side, I think is just a huge benefit. It's very simple, but I just love that little benefit. It gives you a multitude of carrying options in that case, which I think is pretty awesome. Now, one item that I'll try and show in a photo, certainly in share, is this rear tail cap. Now, you might be going, why should I be overly concerned about a tail cap? It looks pretty normal. Well, yes, it does, except here, this actually is a magnet. This is a magnet. I think that's a very clever use of space. Obviously, you can see it has a tail standability. Adding the magnet on the bottom, to me, gives an extra level of utility for the light. I had it sitting momentarily just over on my toolbox in my garage. Also, lifted up the hood to my car, and I can, if I'm having to look at something there, it easily magnetizes to the underside of my hood. Very nice feature to be able to use. I just think that's incredibly smart for just a small light. Get the magnet feature. It obviously, being able to use that magnet feature with the light just makes it, wow, just one little extra item that you can have a benefit of. Makes it great for the car, and give a little bonus to somebody who's like, hey, great, I can use it elsewhere. Now, if you're going, okay, well, I don't really want the magnet feature, well, that's certainly an option. You can actually take out the magnet. So here you can see you actually end up removing that spring, which is your contact point for your battery, so you do end up putting it back in, and you can remove the battery from it. I don't necessarily know why you would want to. I like the ability to have the battery, but it is an option. They actually give you some nice instructions on how to do it with the instruction manual. It makes it pretty straightforward. Olight does include a few extra goodies. You get a lanyard. You get some backup O-rings there. Pretty straightforward. One of the additional features of this light, for being as power packed as it is and being tiny, it is IPX8 rated to 2 meters. So that's nice. Dump it in the water. I'm not going to say necessarily go out and do that, but it is rated IPX8. So if it does fall in the water, you're good to go up to 2 meters. So that's just a little bit about the Olight S10 Baton. Continue to read on, find out more, and see if this is the right light for your next adventure.